Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Outside of Life. I'm Eva, and in today's episode, we will talk with Sweeney Boo about artistic process and different tips for character design and inspiration. In the first part of the interview, we talked about her artistic journey and how she got where she is now. You can see some of her artworks here if you haven't checked it out yet. And before we get to the interview, I would like to thank Astropad for sponsoring this video because with Astropad you can use your iPad Pro as a wireless graphics tablet for your Mac. And I especially enjoy using Photoshop and Illustrator, as you probably already know. And you can see I have a lot of different brushes which I already created for Photoshop, so I would like to use them if I can on my drawing tablet. And especially when I'm doing the material studies like this with these precious gems and with the special texturing, I really like to use the sparkling brushes as a final touch, and I don't have the sparkling brushes in the other apps, so I really prefer using Astropad. And guys over at Astropad gave us a 10% discount, so you can try it out for yourself too. So you can go to artsideoflife.com/astropad and use the promo code ARTSIDE. And now let's just get to the interview. So hello guys again, and welcome to the second part of the interview with Sweeney. Hello! and we will talk about the character design and her specialty in this part. So we can start talking about the characters first, because that's, you mostly see that on your Instagram, right? So maybe let's just talk about that, and maybe you can talk about some of your artistic process. What kind of goes to your research and the big artistic steps or parts of your process, what you always do?
So during the day, I go a lot on Instagram and Pinterest and everything. So every picture that I like, that could be a photograph of fashion, a drawing, or I don't know, a landscape or anything. Everything that I like during the day, I usually take like half an hour at the end of the day, and I grab all those pictures and I put them on my Pinterest board, and I have what I call like daily inspiration.
Oh, cool.
And I usually take that to make something, because I like the inspiration that I got right away from those images. I usually use it, and I sketch a lot in my little sketchbook, but like in thumbnails, sketch poses and just like free sketch like this. It's fun. And if I like a sketch more than the other one, I'll scan it, I'll print it in bigger size that I can use, and I'll just start to make it like a finished piece. I'll do like the sketch and then the inking, and then I'll go further if I want to.
Yeah, and do you always prefer to have it traditional or digital, or it doesn't matter for you which one is favorite?
Um, I love traditional because I feel like it helps me improve my skills quicker,
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually like you need to be very confident, because if you fail at something, you're like, oh, okay, I'll
You
have
cannot
to
go
like do
back, like
it
control.
again. Yeah. So yeah, you have some kind of control at some point, and if sometime I go back to digital, I feel like it's kind of easier,
Yeah.
and also digital during the day at my job, so I kind of have the two. I do love traditional because I was not happy with my colors in digital.
Okay.
Usually, I was very frustrated, but I've done some lately, and I was actually happy with it. So I'm thinking about maybe doing some more.
Oh, really cool. And so how do you then choose the color palettes? Do you take maybe a picture of a, I don't know, sunset, and then you apply those colors to your character, or do you have a different approach of choosing colors?
I actually have a different approach. I don't necessarily go for a palette. When I draw, I usually do like the flat thing, and I will take exactly the color. Like if it's red, it's red. If it's a pink color, it's a pink color. And I play with the shadows a lot, because my shadows are usually I mix purple and blue,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the shadow that I usually put on the characters. To I feel like it gives a nice touch, and ambience on the drawing. I want to know more and learn more about the colors.
Ah, cool. And with the, for example, the purple shadows, do you have like overall layer with multiply for the whole character, or do you pick and choose like separate layers for each element of the drawing?
I usually use separate layers
Mm-hmm.
because I don't necessarily want it to be very strong on the skin,
Mm-hmm.
or it totally depends. But it's always the same kind of purple. It's just that it depends of the opacity.
Mm-hmm.
The opacity change a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, and when you were mentioning also the sketches and like something like catches your eye and you want to take the sketch more like further or finish it, what does it mean, or what is the maybe something which you're like, oh, this is good about my sketch, I like it.
It's sometimes I just see like a pair of shoes and
Hmm.
I'm like I really want to draw the shoes so bad, and so I usually build a character around that, and I feel like if I have something that I really want to draw, I put myself a lot in the drawing, and at the end I know that I can be happy with it. If I start being unsure, I'll probably be frustrated.
That's true, that's true, because then you have also a lot of elements and storytelling in your characters. So, how do you choose these storytelling moments? Do you like have it from real life, or if you see something from real life, like some conversation or moment, do you write it down, or you just like remember it, or like this would be cool to later to draw?
I actually don't really think about it. I when I sketch a pose, it really depends how the sketch makes me feel. If I feel like the pose is like someone very sure or someone very sassy or just
Hmm.
very happy, I usually yeah, I build the expression around that.
Hmm.
If someone asks me like this character needs to be happy, then I really know where I'm going.
Yeah.
But if it's just sketch for me, yeah, it's like the pose and the way I build the face, and I just decide. I draw a lot of sassy characters. I don't know if it's because when I draw, I'm in that mood or something, and I have to let it out. But yeah, it's very natural. I don't really
And do
think
you also
about it.
and do you still do commissions as well, or it's more like a client work when you do
I do a
freelance?
lot of commissions.
Hmm. And
It's super.
and do you what kind of commissions do you usually do? Like, oh, can you draw me with my cat or something different?
I used to do a lot of that,
Hmm.
but people for some reason stopped asking me. A lot of people ask me their favorite character
Hmm.
or sometimes their OCs,
Hmm.
which is fun. Uh, People ask me a lot of ladies because I drew a lot of ladies, but recently someone commissioned me a Batman character, and I was like super happy
Oh, cool.
because I know how to draw men. It's like actually fun when someone asks me to do it.
But it's really cool, yeah, because then you also have a like specific art style, and like then they can already see it like, oh, this is how it will look when kind of it will be finished. Do you have a specific process also how it works? So you like give them a sketch, they like this is how the pose will be, or do you like what is your process with the commissions?
So we usually chat a lot by email.
Mm-hmm.
I ask them what they want. If there's something really particular that they want in the drawing, like an outfit, an element,
Mm-hmm.
or the way they want them to, I don't know, like the expression.
Mm-hmm.
So we talk a lot so I can really understand what they want. They usually give me a lot of space, like I can do what I want. So I usually take a lot of commission at the time. So I'm like, okay, you're gonna be the fourth, so I'm gonna send you an email when I'll start working on it. And so I'll send them a first sketch.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's something that they dislike or they're not totally sure about the drawing entirely, then I'll do another sketch or just like change the little things
Mm-hmm.
so they can really be happy with it. And once they're like, okay, it's perfect, go for it. And then I'll do the entire final process. And then I'll send them the picture and
Cool.
send it to them.
And how do you agree like on the payment? Do you agree on half and half, like before and after, or you ask for payment before, or how do you deal with the business side of the commissions?
Yeah. I actually used to do half and half,
Mm-hmm.
but I got a lot of problems
Mm-hmm.
with either people not responding at the end
Mm-hmm.
or so yeah. So I just decided to just to be sure that I get paid upfront
Mm-hmm.
entirely.
Yeah, yeah.
And we actually signed some kind of contract. I sent them an invoice with like all the rules and like how it's happening, like the time
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and everything. So everyone is actually very sure of what's happening. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's just I feel like it's a better way.
Yeah, yeah, that totally makes sense because it's like a business contract, so then we don't have to be disappointed, or they don't have to be disappointed. So if it is not what they expected, or we don't work for free, or all the
Yeah,
stuff like that.
exactly.
So yeah, that's really good to know, and also for someone who never done commissions and they're like just thinking about it, it's like okay, think like what are the rules and prepare
Yeah.
some kind of contract, even just email at the beginning, maybe if nothing else.
Yeah, because when we started, we're always like, "Oh, you want a commission? Fine, that's great, amazing." And then you like money, like just you can just give it to me at the end. But no, like this is good to do things correctly so everyone knows what's happening and sure if something goes wrong that
Yeah.
they can do something, you know.
Yeah, true, true. So good. Thank you for sharing this because it's really important. And
Yeah.
we also mentioned the art style a bit, right? So I would like to know as well maybe what is the story behind your art style and maybe what were the biggest influences or when did it kind of like develop over time? Of course, it's influenced by many things and it takes like gradually, but yeah. So if you can mention maybe part of that story.
Actually, years ago, I was reading a lot of Skydoll.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
And this is when I
It's really
discovered
cool.
that, yeah, when I discovered a comic series, I was just like amazed. It's so beautiful. The colors are amazing, and I was just starting drawing, and I was like, this is really what I want to do. I love that. I love this kind of characters. So I really started by like learning and taking a lot of what he was doing at that time, and then things evolved because I my boyfriend at the time was really into comics, so I actually discovered and read a lot of Batman, and I fell in love with the inking, and so I took a little bit of that. And this is like all the little books and all the things that actually movies that I watched, and I started reading Scott Pilgrim, and I was like, also, the black and white is amazing. I wish I could do that. So all those little things that I just took and I mixed together, and I actually, I feel like, yeah, I do have a style, but I'm still working on it. Like it's still an improvement.
Yeah, it is always changing, and it's like it will
Yeah.
never be like set in stone because then you'll be like, nah, maybe I'm bored with it.
Yeah, exactly. You can have fun. Like this is like I feel good with what I have right now, but I know that I want to improve and maybe I'll do something totally different in 10 years. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's true. That's true. You never know. And or maybe we can also do like a year after and see where you are with the project and what you are
Yeah.
doing there. So if you imagine now, maybe what are the projects you would like to work on in 10 years or 5 years, like your dream scenario?
I actually have a lot of little ideas in my head, but I would love to work for either Marvel or DC one day to, like those past years, there has been like a lot of characterful girls, like with Spider-Gwen, Squirrel Girl, and I feel like it's such a good moment to be in the comic industry
Yeah.
and it makes me want to just be able to work in that. It's just so much fun, and to actually do comic book for girls, it's so fun. And yeah, that would be something that I would love to do.
Yeah, yeah, create some stories and yeah, some action characters.
Yes, exactly.
That sounds cool. And what about like 100 years? And you know the epic question: what would you like to be remembered for?
um I think maybe I would love to say the comic that that I'm working on right now, because it's very important, because it's about body shaming and food disorder.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I feel like I have maybe a lot to say other than that, like other important story like that. And I would love to work on like important subjects that can speak to people and that people can rely to, like just yeah, just that.
Yeah, so you can inspire people to do stuff or just help them going through something and just accepting either who they are or the other people. So that's definitely really inspirational. So that would be super nice.
Yeah, because it's good to do what we like, to be drawing and everything. But when you have the power to communicate
Hmm.
and to share, I feel like it's good to listen to the people around you
Yeah.
and make something for them.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because also like people don't read as often. I feel like, at least, I mean, of course people read books, but when it's visual, then people are drawn to it more. So it speaks to them. So that's really good
Yeah.
to have some visuals and they have some story and meaning and everything. So yeah, definitely, I totally agree. So yeah, so thank you so much again for being here. It was really nice.
Thank you.
So yeah,
That was
so it was really cool, and yeah, hope to speak to you again in the future and see you. Where are your projects? And yeah, so this was really fun, and thanks guys also for watching and listening, and hope you are now inspired and go do some cool stuff, some visual storytelling. So yeah, so thanks again to you and to everyone
Thank
watching,
you so much.
and yeah, so see you guys. Bye.
Bye.